Awesome. Okay, so a massive welcome, Tracy, and thank you for joining us in our BooB CamP group. We will have this available on replay for if people can't join live, but for people who are joining live, I really welcome you to ask some questions. What's going to happen tonight, how it's going to work is I'm pretty much going to hand the mic over to Trace, and she has prepared an awesome screen show for us to run through this body code, because I hadn't heard of it myself, and the emotional code and body code. I do a lot of clearing. I've got a team around me. I go to Donna Grills. She's in the group. She's my woo-woo lady. I go and do some cranial stuff. I do like lots of different things. And we connected a couple of weeks ago, and a little bit longer, and you've been in BooB CamP for a little while, and you're going to tell your story. And it's like, Chelsey, you know, we were talking about Louise Hay.
Yeah.
Yes. That's what got us started. And we're talking about how the lymphatic system is a disconnection from joy, right? Because we have so many trapped emotions in our body. And then we started talking, and then I was like, oh, you know, I have to share you with the world. So welcome, Trace. And if you can just
thank you.
Take the floor, and I will butt in when there's different questions asked. But happy for you to take over. So welcome.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me on, and lovely to be here. Like you said, it's probably my first Zoom, so bear with me. I may be a little nervous, but I did remove some of that nerves before I came on, which is great. So I just want to tell you guys a little bit about what I do. Again, talking about Louise Hay, that was probably my introduction to that every organ and every emotion would weaken or strengthen an area in our body. So I thought this is really, really interesting. So I kind of learned this through a kind of a difficult, sad way years and years ago with my adopted mum, who actually had developed ovarian cancer. And she was the most healthiest woman. I had never seen her sick. But sadly, through her life, she actually fell pregnant, lost the baby, got TB, and then she couldn't have children. So she actually had to adopt 2 children, me being one of them. And she actually, being healthy all that time, I found it very ironic that all of a sudden she actually died from ovarian cancer. And I thought back then, there's something in this that, where did she hold her pain? Where did it come from? And that came from her ovary. And I knew there was a connection there. So then years and years later, and going and doing a bit of research of my own, then myself became a little bit in a place where it wasn't real good, and was this sort of landed in my lap. Now, I've done kinesiology before, and I loved it. It actually was amazing. I went to a very good kinesiologist who was brilliant. But that sort of faded, and it sort of ended, and then I was sort of left out there trying to find something again. So then the emotion and body code came in, and the emotion and body code comes from chiropractic. This Bradley Nelson is a chiropractor. And what he used to do was he'd actually was working on his clients, and he would find that the kidney was misaligned. And so he would manually put it in. But then when it actually was every third patient was coming in with the same sort of issue, he started questioning and thinking, well, this is really strange. Why is there so many kidneys that are misaligned? So because he had the kinesiology side, he then started looking at the emotion. And so what he did, he actually is a very clever man, came up with this actual chart where he's actually gone in to every part of the body, everything. And he has connected what is called the emotion code, which is every single negative emotion that every human ever feels, that gets trapped in our subconscious. So consciously, what we're 10%, subconscious, which is very much like the iceberg. You see the tip of the iceberg, but you don't see what's underneath. So the pain, all these trapped emotions get lodged in anywhere in our bodies, and that causes a misalignment, because a trapped emotion is like the size of an orange or a grapefruit. as a ball of energy. Now, if you think about that, you just think about a ball of energy that gets stuck in your body, then you're going to have some sort of misalignment. It's enough to move something like the kidney slightly out of place. And this is what it does all the way through the body. So he says that 95% of all disease and pain in your body comes from a trapped emotion in your subconscious. So I might actually show you, just want to touch base and show you a little bit what the chart is, and using the kinesiology, testing of kinesiology, what I can do is I'll give you a little example. It's probably the best way of actually explaining it.
Yes.
Is to give you a little, so for the kinesiology, I actually do a testing, which is just a simple, when this is yes, and this is no. So this is the positive. Like the body knows when it's right, it's solid. But when it's a nah, it's a nah. So this is the testing route. So I'm going to just do, because also the reason why I've been in contact with Chelsey is because I actually have lymphedema myself. And it was only through your site with someone that you had on that was a naturopath. And I remember sitting there and hearing her and thinking, oh, well, I think I have something similar to that. Actually, I actually thought that I had big muscles in my legs, because I actually used to do bodybuilding and I was out there and I had to get bigger boots for starters. And I just thought it was muscle. But actually, I've realized it's not actually muscle. Sadly, it's not muscle. So it is actually the lymphedema. And I knew nothing about it. So I was sort of starting to do the research on it. So that also led me into what can I do as far as the body code? What can I do to actually remove the emotion that comes with that? Because, like, I had a husband that said to me, like, what happened to the elephant? And I'd say, what elephant? And he said, the one that you stole his legs from. You know, those sort of things are they cut you, you know, and I didn't know that, like, I tried things and I tried this and it still remains. But to be able to remove the emotion, to be able to actually go in and remove that nasty little words that were said to you that just sit somewhere and sit in the lymphedema, sit in those areas, toxic thoughts, things that people say to you become toxic in your body. And the longer you have toxicity in your life around you, the more it sits stagnant in your body. Absolutely. So let's move on and let's have a little demonstration of what it is.
If this,
so we're going to put up,
ladies, if this makes sense, give us some hearts if you're all following along and it all makes sense. And you're going to share your screen, Trace? Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So what I'm going to do is use myself as an example, because I'm still actually working on the lymphedema. And so what I'll do is I'll start off and I ask the question, okay, we're going to go to the lymphatic system. So if you go to the lymphatic system, so we'll go straight, because in the body code, there is a section on your immune system and your lymphatic system. And this is what it looks like. Can everyone see it?
Yes. Yes.
So what I actually do is then I start to ask, okay, what is going on in my body? So then I ask, is it in the lymph nodes? And it tests yes. Okay. So you can open up the lymph nodes and it will show. It has a little explanation of what it is. Then it goes down to it. I ask the question, is there an association? So that association means, is there anything else we need to look at? Do we need to go to an emotion? Do we need to go to a physical thing or a nutritional thing? So it'll take me on a journey. So I'm going to ask the question, what is the association? Where are we going to go with the association? So we go back, and it's taking me to an emotion. So it's taking me to an energy. So these are the different energies that we've got here. We have like post-traumatic stresses that come up. We have, you can click on the offensive. We have things like courtings, sabotage. We can be self-sabotagers. We can have people come in our life and sabotage us, and that actually becomes quite toxic. Well, this one we're going to a mental energy. So the mental energy comes to be a no will. Interesting, the no wills. So these no wills come from long periods of sadness. When that gets trapped in your body, it becomes hopeless and sad and becomes overwhelmed with life, and it becomes a physical discomfort when it remains. So I'm going to ask, which is the no will, because there's a list of them. So I'll go down to the bottom and I'll ask the question, which no will? Is it in column A, column B? It's in column B. Is it in the first, the second, the third, the fourth row? And I'm actually, at this point in time, have a no will to be healthy. Yay. Good-o. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to ask, is there an emotion that is driving that? So the emotion will drive the energy of me not wanting to be healthy at this moment. Let's have a look at that. So now we're going to what's called the emotion code, which is, remember I said every negative emotion is trapped in your body somewhere. So I'm going to go to, is it in column A, is it in column B? Be odd, be even. 2, 4, 6. And I'm down to worthless. Now, let's face it, if you feel a little worthless, you just want chips, which is what I did today. I wanted chips. And I ate the chips, and I should have just removed this. Really. So now what I'm going to do, this all works in the fact that we have the governing meridian. I'm not sure if anyone's familiar with the governing meridian, which actually comes from the tailbone, up the spine, over the head to the top. This is the main energy highway. Now, when this gets blocked, there's many, many problems that just come from this being blocked. But this is also the way we get unblocked. So what I do to remove this is I actually, over the head 3 times, to remove that emotion, 1, to disrupt that energy, to move it on. Interesting, to me, it's like subconscious, bring it to the conscious. We don't want to stay there because it's ugly. We want it over. We want it gone and behind us. So I do that 3 times, unless it's hereditary. And when something is hereditary and has been passed down at time of conception, we need to do that 10 because it's actually in a lot more. It's really in depth. If you go back generations, from hundreds of years, So I can actually remove those things as well. So that's as easy as it is. So I actually remove that over, that's gone. I then check, has that emotion gone? Yes. Do you know that emotion now has gone forever? That's as simple as it is. So
and then when you did mine, you also traced it back to when it started, when it originated. Yeah.
That's right. What age did it get trapped is what you do, ask the question. And then you remove it from that age or that time period, and then it's absolutely gone. So that's very instant, very, very fast. But I don't know whether anyone got a chance to actually have a look at what I put up, and that was on the heart wall. And the heart walls are very interesting. It's the things that, I guess, the biggest hurts we actually get are closest to our hearts. And so the subconscious always wants to please you. It has this thing where it just wants to please you, but sometimes it's not always for the best. So what it does as a protection, so that you never get hurt in that way, you never get betrayed, you never get this, you never get those emotions, it builds a wall. So the subconscious builds this wall, and it actually in its own subconscious note makes it out of a material. You can have it. Like I explained, one lady, she had a heart wall of clear plastic. And Bradley Nelson said, I don't understand why you'd have a heart wall of clear plastic. And she said, well, I do. She said, because when I grew up, my parents never took the plastic off the furniture, ever. She said, we grew up sitting on plastic. So in her mind, she just went, right, I know it protects. You take that plastic off 20 years later, it still looks good. So the subconscious went, ta-da, I know. So individually, sometimes it will have something to do with your life. But this is why we build these walls. But these walls, sadly, actually will keep out love, and they will keep out joy. It will stop you from experiencing the fullness of the way that you should be feeling things. So at my sessions, often, very first sessions, I like to actually unload you. So you can have anywhere up to 25 emotions on the heart wall. and hidden ones. Now, the hidden ones are the ones where you are like, all right, you can touch me here, but don't be touching me there. That's like, so we're a bit sneaky. Subconscious is a little bit sneaky like that too. It's been protecting you for years for a purpose. But now that purpose doesn't serve a purpose now. It serves a pain. And that's what we deal with. And the older we get, it seems to really, really stir up. And we where we thought we were young and we could do this. As we get older, we're like a little slower and a little sluggish. And we're just tired. We're basically tired of what's
we
going on.
want to disrupt the pattern, right? Why do we keep doing the same thing over and over again? Like memories from all of that past memories is how we're taking action.
That's right.
Yeah.
So why do we pick the same men? You know, why, you know, and there's a thing in there called the courting. And now courting is very interesting because the courting actually, you can court on an very unhealthy relationship with someone. Codependency, you know, control, all these things. And you wonder why people can't get away from them. If that cord is connected, it is connected and it is strong. So that person may want to go like this, but that cord is like a little spring effect that just keeps coming up. That's why women in situations have trouble getting out of abusive cycles, because that person has courted them. They haven't done it. They want out. And they're trying. And the family goes, why can't they leave?
Yeah.
Once that cord is cut, you then have an equal grounding for a relationship. The relationship becomes healthy, or you can get rid of it. Chop, 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 chop. So no, don't muck around with it. Yeah.
So I've got some questions, Trace. Karen says, we are so awesome. Yes. Jane says, do you have to recall the event to clear it?
No, not always. I think I've worked with a lot of people that actually it may be too painful to even, and it's not about recalling it. It literally is about bringing it to the conscience and moving it on. Doesn't serve a purpose to sit in it and go over it again. And
that's right, because you're a counsellor, right?
Yes.
And it's not like laying on the couch and having to bring it all up. This is just up, out, done, without me even being aware. Like, I read back over my report and I've gone, oh my God, she's nailed all of this in one night. And
I don't know you. I didn't know you. Like, I don't know your personal life in any way, shape, or form. But what happens? Let me explain. So I can, if I'm with someone, I can use the muscle testing, which is, you know, the answer yes, no, muscle kinesiology. But what I find that I work best with people is so that you can go and have a coffee or a wine or just have your life. and I actually do what's called proxy. So the proxy comes to that energy has no limitations.
Yeah.
This is the reason why mothers wake up on one side of the world and are fright and go, oh my goodness, there's something wrong with my child on the other side of the world. You know, that is the connection between us. That is the energy between us. Twins are very energetically, you know, together. It's all energy. Or you go, oh, I was thinking of that. I was thinking about someone, and then they ring and you're like, what? Energy. There it is. And energy is something that brings us all together. So I actually can put myself aside, basically, is what I've always tried to do in life, is to help people. So it's quite easy for me to actually go over there, Trace. Got nothing to do with you. Now we're here. So I actually tap into your memory with the energy of your memory. So the reason why it's so correct is not anything. I'm the translator. Is because I'm tapping into you. You are telling the story because you are your own expert. And this is why it's correct. Now, sometimes we may not connect again. The conscience of the subconscious is still out going in and out, and you may look at something and go, I don't know about that. Well, that's why you pushed it down.
Yeah.
You don't want to know about that. Yeah, that's exactly right. So consciously, you can sit there and go, I'm fine. Yep, no, everything's good. Yeah, everything's great. And any woman that says they're fine is not fine, has stored a lot of stuff going on. So I look at this as even a form of surgery, even like I actually literally am doing some form of surgery. because when I come along and I remove that big ball of energy, that misaligning will actually go clunk back into place. And that's what happens with people. I've had many people say, and my sister was one of them, who just said my whole face just whoop, went that way when she lay on the bed. And she had a disconnection, 100% disconnection in her head, and had an artery that was very inflamed. And her whole face just literally went back into place. Now, she was up for a brain operation. She was actually, the specialist said they were going to pick a brain up, move it aside, and do something with it. And I said, well, if you're going to, let's try this first. And you know what? It's gone. It's gone. I fixed it just through reconnecting. Now, the emotion was pushing it out. If she'd lost a partner, she'd been in lockdown in Melbourne for like 9 months, too much time to think. She's had a really crappy childhood. Cleared it, moved it. Guess what? No operation, no brain operation. It's just amazing. So when I see things that happen like that, I'm just like incredible, because it causes pain and disease in our bodies. So yeah.
Yeah. So next one, Kim has said, loving this info. Thanks, Trace.
No.
Karen, if you take away the emotion, can you then change the habit?
Oh, yes. Because it puts you on a path that you actually couldn't see because of the pain. So you would never open yourself up to that, because you're then like this. It makes you like, you become a turtle. Your head goes, oh, I don't do anything. I'll just sit here. You've got to sit in our poo, basically.
Yeah.
So it does. It changes. It changes life. Amazing for some people. There's the stories of never found the right guy and everyone was a loser. Changed it up. Finds the man, or finds the job. It just You start looking for the good things.
Got to get rid of the baggage, the things that don't serve you anymore. You only know like 10%, like I don't even know if you know 10% of the things that don't serve you anymore. You don't even know the things that you're carrying with you.
Yes.
Other people can see more than what you can see.
Well, for me, it was, I had a frozen shoulder for 12 months, and I literally went to doctors, acupuncture, I went to Bowen, I went to some people that did the weirdest things to my shoulder, and I was just like, can you not? Anyway, I ended up removing the emotions, and I had 7 trapped emotions in my shoulder, because shoulders represent carrying the burden. So when you're carrying the burden, you misalign in the fact that your whole posture just changes, your shoulders start to go like this and that. So after I removed them, and I hadn't been able to, I was like this, 12 months. The pain was excruciating. After I moved 7 trapped emotions, I did that for the first time, and they never came back, because once they're gone, they're gone. Amazing, isn't it? Just incredible to see, and instant, like the instance of this work. And I think the kindness of it, I love the kindness that we don't have to rehash things. We don't have to go through this. We just on a path. Sometimes someone will have a little bit of a reaction, like a healing crisis sometimes, if the trauma has been quite big. I just tell them to actually be kind to themselves the next day and just take it easy and be aware and go with it. Don't go against it, because we are healing. We're about moving on and healing. And so, but majority of people actually are just like, wow, well, that was good. That's done. I feel great. I got tingles. One lady said to me, I just got tingles all over. She said, I haven't had that. Oh, good night's sleep. So there's areas that we work on. We can work on addictions. There's a really, really good area with addictive behavior and where it comes from and how we can remove. We can do weight loss. We can do all sorts of things. Anything that's going on in your system, we can track that down, and you'll find that it's a trapped emotion or a will to, or no wills. Sadly, through this journey, I've found that, well, not sadly, actually been great, really, that people that have been suicidal, I have been able to track down that there is 3 main things that actually go with it, and they are shame. Shame is your lowest vibration energy, and that can lead to suicide. But when you have a will to die and a no will to live in a shame, they are the ones that, even if it gets trapped by here, sometimes that if it's left there and grows and gets harder, you know, this is where it happens. But I've had quite a few people where I've actually removed those three things and actually their life's changed. Their life actually started living. They got on their motorbike, you know, whereas before they didn't care. But by removing those, so it's very powerful, very healing, and very fast.
Yeah. Now, I love doing it in clinic. I do naturopathic emotional release, which is similar, but I would have somebody with me. It's with the kinesiology, and I just love how you can. I don't do it anymore. But the people watching who I've done it with, they're like, "Oh my God, Chelsey! Like this, yes." But you know, I don't do it anymore. But one of the ladies has said, everyone has said the connection that they've got with their mum or their daughters, if that live further away. Yeah. And Karen said, so our unconscious rules us.
The subconscious is the driver.
Unconscious, sorry. Yeah, subconscious.
Yeah.
So how many million thoughts a second or things a second goes into the subconscious?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Millions.
Yeah. So like you know, if a car came screaming around the corner and nearly hit you, you would automatically like shock, panic, all these things. But the thing is, if there's already been shock or panic from other times, what's going to happen? They just compound. That's just compounding till you've got a bigger shock and a bigger. So you end up with your nervous system like totally out of whack. So we can actually put the nervous system back where it is by removing those instances that happened, whatever age it was or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, really amazing stuff. So finding a lot of people are just absolutely amazed by it. I do. It's very rewarding to see, like you say, to actually see people just grow and be the person that they always should have been, but pain stops.
Yeah, like we were just talking, like finding your true self, that self-identity, because you get to a certain age and you're like, who even am I?
Yeah.
Like, how did I even get here? Who even am I? And then, you know, let's start peeling the onion. Let's see it as fun and self-discovery. We can turn it into a green frame and go, you know what? Okay, let's do something about this.
There are things called in the body code called despair anchors, which a despair anchor is something, another reason why, like people will say, oh, just get over it or just get on with it or whatever. It's like when you go fishing and you actually put the anchor out and you sit in the boat and you wait and you see the same scenery for hours because your husband just won't move the boat on and you're stuck there and looking at the same thing. And then eventually you say to him, look, how about we pull the anchor up and we have a little drift and catch some fish, because you're more likely to, and see a different scenery. And then you find you come alive, you know, when you're anchored to something and you can't get away from it. So when it comes to a despair anchor, there are many despair anchors in us that we are anchored to. And unless we remove those on, we will always be anchored. It will always drag us back to the one point. And there's no growth. There can be no growth in that.
But it's safe there, Tracy. There's no waves and there's no wind, and I can stay in my little box there.
Oh, you know? Yeah. And it has been, and it probably did serve a purpose for people in their life and through traumas. And even for my own life, I would say my subconscious, my body was doing the right thing by trying to protect me in so many ways. But like I said, as I got older and I couldn't actually one on top of another, on top of another, on top of another until you got a breaking point, we need to unpack. We need to unpack our bags, and we can. And now I know we don't have to be this sick. We don't have to be this, sad. We don't have to be those things. We can actually move them on.
Because
Let's
if you
go
don't
and find
unpack,
another home.
Yeah, if you don't unpack, it gets stored.
Yeah.
In liver, kidneys, lungs, legs, muscles, like it gets stored in your
what was interesting for me, being through a lot of trauma myself, I developed fibromyalgia. So all those pains and all those things, now I can remove all those. And what does that do? It actually frees up my muscles. It frees me up, because stress is about how we hold our stress, isn't it? So, if like some people hold in their jaw because you're like this, so like, I don't know, there's emotions all here. There's all emotions all in there, and everyone individually holds their stress in a different way. But if this doesn't get moved, this is where disease can actually come from. This is exactly where it comes from. And seeing it with my mum, I was like, well, whoa, to the point of that, it's so damaging. So yeah, it's very, very good. But if you want me to show you anything else, I can have a little look at the despairing, because let's have a little look at some of the notes we can.
I'll just read through a couple more comments.
Yep.
Belle has said, book me in and bring it on.
Yeah.
Sandy, my shoulder has been sore for years. So
yeah.
Let's look at that. My mum has said, great, I'll cancel physio tomorrow. No.
Yes.
Going to
no. No. Yeah.
Robin, feeling empathy, I sometimes have to ask if the pain is mine or if it's somebody else's.
And that's very true. It's called we are often empaths. Sort of, we absorb other people's pain and we take it on as our own. And yeah, that's very true. So there is something that you can do, and which is what I recommend, is that through that governing meridian point, you can actually shield up. So shield up 3 times over the head. Shields up. Mm-hmm. If you're going in and you know that your friend's going through a rough time, or you're in a situation where you just know something's not right here, shield it up. And that way you won't actually absorb it. So yeah, it's a big thing, absorbing, actually. You wonder why. Don't you? You sort of go, oh, I don't know, I feel a bit, you don't realise what the subconscious has done. It's like, oh, yeah.
My shield that I use, Trace, a lot is I love Ho'oponopono. I do a lot of Ho'oponopono. And I think I must say it, I think 1,000 times a day. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. So everyone who comes to me, picking up the phone, hopping in my car, everything that I do, looking at people, I'm looking at them, but I'm saying over and over again, I'm cleaning myself. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. So I'm not taking, taking it on.
Yeah.
Karen, can this work with teens and anxiety by proxy, because they may not be open to anything? So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, that's an interesting. Most people are actually quite open, but I can test to see if they are open to it. But majority of people are actually quite open and ready, not to go. But yes, teens are great. Autism, Asperger's. I work with my grandson with Asperger's, and his anxiety levels and things like that, and his behaviour, and it works. Babies, working with pregnant mums to actually help them through the birth or through the pregnancy. There's certain disconnections when a mother has actually got morning sickness. You will find that there is a disconnection that comes from the baby to the placenta, in different areas. All parts can become disconnected. And once they actually become disconnected, even the mother actually feels like, I want to throw up. And I know that for myself, because I actually was quite young when I had my girl, and I was very disconnected. I was just sick for 9 months, literally. Blah, the whole time I just learned to eat and vomit. It was one of those things. So, now I know. And I'm still in this stage where I can feel that disconnection. We are connecting through the body code and emotion code. And the funniest thing is to do your daughter. Oh, that's hilarious. Because it will come up and say, oh, was that your mother or your father? And I'm thinking every time it was father, I was like, yes. But when it was like mother, it's like, oh, that's awkward. Oh, sorry about that. Whoops. So, but my daughter has suffered from quite a bit of anxiety and depression, and she has growing now. It's amazing to watch her unpack and and unpack together. It's been a really nice journey for both of us.
Can you say body? Oh, can you show me where shame is trapped in my body? Muscle test and then release unknowingly the story. Robin, I don't know if that's, can you say body? Can you show me where shame is trapped in my body? Muscle test and then release unknowing the story. So
yeah, I don't necessarily need to know anything from anybody. That's not what it's about. But yeah, it will show me. Your body will actually take me on the journey, and I'll just follow it. So whether you've trapped the shame, you can trap it anywhere. It can become in any part of your body. You can, So I will follow the journey. I will find the shame, and I will just remove it out of it, and then it's gone. In the body code and the emotion code is actually interesting, because when I look at it, there is a description which I like. I actually quite like. You actually can download this emotion code for yourself.
Okay.
You can see that. I'm not very good.
We might get you to pop the link in after our call.
Yeah.
Link in this.
So I guess what I like about the emotion code too is that sometimes we might say that we feel anxious, or we might say we feel something, but it actually has a meaning of it. So anxiety can be feeling that something is wrong, but not knowing what it is. A generalized feeling of uneasiness. How many of us just feel, oh, I don't know what's wrong, but I just feel generally uneasy about it.
Yeah.
Foreboding, a fear. So what I do is that you might not have all that. You might have parts of that. So I go through and I test which part is it that you have to actually remove it to make sure that's gone. And then it has exactly where it affects which organ also it tends to affect. Yeah. I also can check for physical pathogens, parasites, bacteria, candida, all those sort of things. I can also, there's, dental, interesting. Dentist, I can actually, there's a lot of stuff that can get trapped in your teeth and things like that. I had a girlfriend that showed me her leg the other day, and it was like, this terrible thing. I said, what happened? She goes, I don't know. And I said, well, I'll find out. And she had a spider bite, interesting enough. And then she went to the doctors, and the doctor said, oh, no, that's a spider bite. And she's like, she's told me. Well, your body actually said. So it will take me to a poisonous plant, a venom, all those sort of things. So it's like not having to go to the doctor. It's like if something's wrong with me, I'm just like, oh, what's going on? So I just have a little look in there, and it saved me a lot. I've had disconnections from falling down the stairs and doing quite serious injuries like tendons and things like that. And I realized, I'm still learning. I'm learning about the whole thing myself, because what I learned was when I fell down the stairs and I laid on that floor in defeatism and I'd given up, I thought the pain was to do with the injury. But when I actually removed those things, that will to give up, do you know what? The pain went from a 9 to a 2. Then I realized, hang on here. Still got the injury, but the pain dropped so dramatically that I actually managed to get myself sort of to the lounge. I was I had done some damage to that in my knee. I was literally in a wheelchair for one day. I worked on my knee because I'd torn ligaments in that. The second day, I moved to crutches. The third day, I went to a knee brace. And the fourth day, I was walking.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, my goodness. I was like, what? I'm even at that stage where I'm like, what? I love that. But it works. And it's happened to me in a couple of other areas, because sadly, I was told I went on an appointment. I was told by a person that she said, now I want to test you, open your eyes, she said, do this, stand there, do this. And at the end of it, she said, you're a very high risk for. And this is what we call a hypnotic suggestion. So that's when somebody from the outside actually, who you trust, who you believe in, who you believe has qualifications. It can be any person that is, in your life in that way. I believed it. I actually believed her so much that I've done nothing but fall ever since. Prior to that, I wasn't falling. I was not falling. But ever since she said, you are a high-risk faller, bang, bang. And that's why I lay on the floor with absolute giving up, thinking, is this my life? Is my life all about falling lately? What is going on? But no. So now I've put in a new message. I've actually cancelled her message out. What a load of rot. And put in a new message. And so far, I've been staying on the feet.
Let's everyone's asking, how do they book in? How do they see you, and how much? They're not asking how much, but I'm sure that that's a question. If you can let everybody know the procedure to work with you. Yeah.
So I've actually now just got my own little Zoom number now going on, so I can actually do a session with someone if they want me to guide them through, and everyone's different. Somebody wants to, I want to see that. I want to see what you do, and I want to connect with it in that way, where someone else will go, I don't want to know them. So could you just do the proxy, and then I'll send you the email like I did with you, and then you sit in your own private time and you go through that time and you look at it and that sort of stuff. So it's totally up to individuals. So I have, I'll put the link down to my Facebook page. And for a special for all the lovely ladies, I'll do a session for $50, which is very, very reasonable. But that's for the girls, these girls here.
Because we are paying it forward, right? We're paying it forward the last couple of weeks. So yeah, that's super. So all of this for a session and everything. And the report that you give is amazing. So $50, ladies, $50.
Yeah. And what you'll get out of $50 is just, it will just go, oh my goodness. The peace that you can have, well, get rid of some pain. Get rid of the heart walls. I first start with the heart walls, because the heart walls are so
I think I had 8. I think I had 8 heart walls on mine. I cut made out of plastic.
That's pretty good. That's actually pretty good. Shows that you have done a lot of work. But it's definitely contact me through the site, and I'll look after you, and we'll just do it however you feel comfortable with it. We can go forward with that, and I shall start with the heart walls and remove the heart walls. The heart is an interesting thing, because they've actually found that people that have had heart transplants, because the heart has all the memories. So there's been lots of stories about heart transplants, and I think it was through a heart transplant that they caught a murderer. So a little girl actually died. She'd been murdered, and they transplanted the heart into another little girl, and she had the memories. And through the memories, she actually told the police what the person looked like, and they caught him.
Wow.
Amazing.
Love it.
Yeah, incredible. And it was another one where she was like, she's like, I don't know why, she said, but when I go around, I know it's around the corner. She was visiting and traveling, and she knew the shops around the corner. She knew this, she knew that. She said, and I don't know why, but it was, and then when she tracked it back, she found out that the person that she got the heart from had actually visited all those places. It was just like, so there's a lot of memories and pain in that heart. So this also will explain why some people have heart palpitations. I've got a tight chest, I've got this going on, so this will remove the energy again, which can cause heart attacks. And people do die of broken hearts. We hear it all the time. This is actually
I know someone who had a heart attack from a broken heart.
Yeah, absolutely, it happens. So we have that. We have often grief in our lungs. So then we look at people with asthma. You have good asthmatics. We look, there will be a big ball of energy and grief in these lungs, and you cannot breathe. I know this from my brother-in-law who has Asperger's, and then he gets himself worked up. And I'm like, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, asthma. Yes, here we go. So I sit down and I remove those emotions, and then he breathes. And so to actually see that is pretty incredible. So many areas that these things get stored and
we're always doing it. Like, we're always cleaning. Like, I'm always just trying to tip out the rocks out of my bowl. Always. Yep. So it's just like an onion. More will come up and more will come up, and you learn how to cope with them better, I think. And it's less of a burden, I think, as you take the onion. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Maybe you take a couple of layers off and then you have a doozy come up.
Yeah.
Have you had that happen?
Yeah. I've had that happen with me, I think, actually. Yeah. So, yeah, we are layering them in. But the thing about the body, it actually will only let us take off what we can. So, again, it's quite kind. I won't ever be able to go too far. And what I always do in my sessions is that I will test and say, is this enough?
Yeah.
And how long will it take to process, and what do we need to process this, and that sort of stuff as well. It would be really good to actually maybe, I don't know, one day even do a little thing, like a little class on how to actually remove your own emotions, like with the emotion code, of just teaching people how to actually be a little bit more self-sufficient with it as well. Because just by removing those emotions at the time, so like I said, if the car comes in and you actually are like, there's the panic, well, the whole day you're just going to have a panicky day. You're just going to be all over the shop, to be able to actually sit down quietly and go, okay, let's remove that panic.
Yes.
And it's like this, okay, now we're good.
No chance.
Yeah. So that would be a really good thing to do.
So what the ladies can do, so we've put up the link to your Facebook page. My awesome VA, Eunice, has popped that in. Everybody has gone, wow, thank you so much. Can't believe it. Perfect. Love to learn. So if everybody joins into your Facebook group, and then you can announce, say, like in 4 weeks or 2 weeks or whatever you want to do, because I'm pretty sure you'll have got quite a few ladies to say, you know what, like, Trace, please, I'd love to do this. And then after you get through those, like in 2 weeks or so, then go live. Now that you know how to do that, into the group, I can show you which press. And then you can run through getting people to just helping themselves.
Yeah, it's interesting. Some people, like, I find that this one is a good one. It's really easy. I have looked a little weird at the gym, I've got to say, when I'm at the gym and I'm actually on the treadmill, and all of a sudden the second toe, don't ask me why, stops me from walking. And literally it's like a stone bruise. And for 2 hours, that's it. I'm limping for 2 hours, not knowing. And then all of a sudden it goes like that. And so I'm on the gym doing the thing, and then second toe happens, and I'm like, not now. So I go, oh, what's the trapped motion in this bit? And then I do, and then I say hello to the person next to me and wave at them, and they think I've got Tourette's, and that's okay. So, and it goes, and I walk, and they're like, I've actually found, I was introduced by Ligaya. She actually looked it up and she said, this one was a good one for removing it. So I actually can sit quietly, and actually the idea is there is like a lot of people use a magnet to remove. I'm right on cue. So, but you have enough like magneticness in your fingertips to actually do it. But that, you can remove it. But even this, I found it's actually working. So now I can quietly sit in the coffee shop and just, because I think I was going bald. I was like thinking, oh God, I'm like, let's do this. And then sometimes I'm trying to not look so weird. So then I'm like, trying to do it like this, but it's all right, doesn't matter. It works. That's the main thing.
Okay, so I'd like to know how to remove it. Yeah, so Michelle will do that in Tracy's group. Awesome, great night. Yes, everything fantastic, Trace. So if there's any last questions, or is there anything else, Trace, that you wanted to finish off with? We've got about 9 minutes.
Have we? All right, I think we should just go through some more of the emotion body code. Oh yeah, I suppose I could show somebody. So I could actually proxy into Was it, who was the lady that was asking about shame?
About shame.
Robin? Oh, there was one lady that asked.
I'm just going through. This has come at the right time for me. I missed. It won't let me go back up. How did that?
Was it Belle? I thought it was Robin.
Where is Tracy based? So yes, please, yes, please, yes, please. No, it won't let me go back up that far. But do you want, so Belinda, Belinda said, I once met a guy in a health food shop, a worker, and he looked at me and said, my heart is so closed, and she's never forgotten it.
Yeah, because it shows you know, you'll know it. You'll see someone and go, oh, they got a wall up.
Yes, it was Robin.
It was Robin. I thought it was Robin.
Yes.
Okay, if Robin would like me, it gives me permission, I can actually just have a look at that shame. I won't say anything. I'll just take it to an age, and I'll take it to.
Robin, are you okay with that?
We can remove that if I proxy.
I think there's a little bit of a time.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah.
Yes, she said, yes, please go for it.
No worries. Okay. So what I'll do is that I'll just connect to Robin. So basically I test 3 times. Am I Robin? No. Am I Robin? Am I Robin? Am I Robin? Now I am actually connected to Robin's memory now and her energy. So I'm going to start off and go through. First of all, I'm going to tell Robin how many heart walls she actually has and see if that is on her heart wall. So how many heart walls do you have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So you have 20 trapped emotions on your heart wall, Robin. Let me have a little look and see, do we have a shame? Yes, we do. We have a shame. Now I'm going to go in and I'm going to read you what shame is. Shame is actually a feeling of being wrong. That's not it for you. Defective? No. The painful feeling of having done something wrong or experienced something. So you've experienced something that wrong to you that has brought you some shame. So this being the lowest vibration of all emotions, it leads to guilt, it leads to depression, and then it also can lead to suicide. So we really need to remove this one for everyone. So I'm going to find out what age you got trapped. So first of all, I ask the question, was it hereditary? Was it this shame passed down to you? And that's a no. Then were you a baby? Were you a child? Teenager. So we go 13, 14, 15. This shame originally got trapped when you were 15 years old. Was it an event? Yes, it was an event, something that happened. Is there any more we need to know about? No. Now, if it's tested as something we need to know about, then I will dig a bit deeper and it'll take me on another journey. But you are ready to get rid of the shame. So we're just going to move it on. So 3 times over the head. 1, 2, and 3. Have we removed the shame? Yes. That's it. That's it. Now, I go through those heart walls fairly fast and very painless. So your shame now is gone. That doesn't mean to say that you don't have shame from another time, because it tends to be if you've got shame from this time, then of course that journey will follow you in some way. So we'll need to remove it from another time at some stage. It will come up in this process of the layer. And that's pretty well as simple as it is, and as painless as it is. Yeah, but a good one to get rid of. But you have 20. I just 1, 2, 3, 4 hidden ones. So that's good. We can remove those quite easily.
So yeah, Robin says that takes resistance out. Resistance. That takes resistance out. So I'm not sure, Robin, exactly what you mean by that.
Resistance, yeah.
Whether she means with you doing the testing it takes her you know, subconscious, or it takes her conscious resistance out, feeling fear.
It just means that her energy's gone. Sometimes it can be quite simple, that people would like it to be a little bit, feel like, oh, is that it? Basically, but it actually is. It is basically what it is. And it is, once it's removed, that is gone from that time.
Yeah. I remember going to a spiritual lady, and a couple of them actually, and they can just pull things off, you know, and pull things off. But they do it so quick that people think, oh, I'm paying $50 or $100 for this session. So they say they just sit there like doing some of this stuff, because people want it to take longer than it does. Yeah.
I find with working with people, again, it comes down to the individual thing, that I will have the person. I had one lady who actually the whole time when I tested her just went, She never said a word. She never said it happened. She never said it didn't happen. And she is actually a naturopath lady. And at the end of it, she said, give me your cards. Yeah. Now, that was really hard. Like, it was hard because I'm a bit of a communicator and a connector and all that. And when she was just, but that's okay. That's how she needed to do it. I didn't know a thing about her. I just said, blah, 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 happened at 7, that happened, move it on. And she just said, Then you'll get to the next person that'll actually they'll tell you, oh, it seems to be, oh, that happened at such and such an age. And then they'll go, oh, like my daughter did it. She goes, I said, oh, it happened at 7. You were nervous at 7. She goes, I know what that was. And I went, 7? You know what that was? Really? She goes, yeah, that's when I moved school. She said, I remember being so nervous.
Yes.
And see, and that came straight. That came from the subconscious. She's a very nervous person. Here, I know what that is. And that was gone. So some people will have more of a connection and want to talk about. Then you'll get the person that needs to talk. They need to tell you, and they need to say these things. And that's part of the healing as well. Because when the brain, when you're talking, the brain is sorting. Everything is sorting and putting in place. And part of the problem is that we've actually pushed it down. We stopped talking. We stopped saying to each other, I don't feel good. I don't, you know. We stop that process. And like, you look at children. What do children do? Children have all these emotions, and they go through them all. They can go from like screaming and yelling to like laughing and all that, but they're actually emotion is energy in motion.
Yeah.
And so when it gets blocked, or when someone says to you, don't cry, shut up, all those energy stops. It just stops, you know, and it's really sad. So we got to keep this thing flowing. And the meridians are amazing. And chakras. I haven't touched on the chakras, of how important the chakras are. And once they get blocked, you know, you can blow your whole chakra. It's like, I literally have had people that have just gone boom, blown it all. I'm like, whoa, you've blown just about everything. And that is really, really bad thing. Those in the meridians make you very, very sick. In this process, you will find out exactly what they do to your body, because he has got it all.
The report is amazing. Yeah. And it's not so you just went through one thing then that you've just done with Robin, but when the ladies do a report, you go through so many of those. Yeah. And
I totally explain to you, you know, and you'll just resonate with it so much and just know, look.
Yeah. Okay, we need to wrap up now.
Oh, lovely.
I need to go and get my boy from basketball training.
Yep.
So yeah, thanks, Trace. Thank you so much. And I know that there'll be more people watching on the replay too. So please type in replay, and if you can jump in and answer any more of these questions. So the action steps for everyone to take is to get onto your Facebook page, connect and say, what do you want them to say? Book me in, please.
Yeah.
Book me.
Unpack me.
Unpack me. Yeah. Unpack me. Chip out the rocks.
Yeah. Get rid of them. Breathe again.
To breathe.
Yeah.
Let us co-create with, you know, not from memories anymore. Let's bring that inspiration.
And you know, the times that we're living in as well is bringing its own little, you know, stress on people. So we don't want, we want to unpack some of that too. I've had to unpack it myself on a few occasions. You just don't realise how much it does affect you. But thank you so much for having me, Chelsey. I really appreciate it.
Loved it. Thanks, Tracy. And everyone has just said thank you, ladies. Number one, thank you so much. Everyone is you know, really great, as I am too.
Can't wait to work with some of you. That'd be great.
I can't wait to hear. So when you had a session with Trace, jump back into BooB CamP and let me know. You know, share with us how you're going, because there are so many different levels to this. Yes, we're doing all of our body, you know, stuff, but we're shaking things up, aren't we, with the lymphatic system too? And we need to connect. Like, so much comes back to emotions.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Everyone has said, like, best timing. Needed to hear this now.
Exactly. I know. That's exactly what happened to me. Awesome. Can't wait to share it with everyone.
Yes. Okay, everybody on Facebook, I am going to disconnect now because I've learned how to do this. Good night, Facebook.
Night, guys.
Ladies.
See ya.